Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us at our webinar today. The Global Sustainable Electricity Partnership, or GSEP, would like to welcome everyone to today's webinar, which is entitled Hydro-Quebec and Social Acceptability, a Daily Target. Before we begin, I'll tell you a little bit about our organization. So the GSEP is a not-for-profit organization whose members are the world's leading electricity company. And the objective of the GSEP's webinars is to allow our member companies to share their perspectives on technological and strategic issues facing the electricity sector today. Today's webinar is hosted in collaboration with Hydro-Quebec. It will last 1 hour and will have a presentation followed by a question and answer period. So today's webinar will be presented by Marie-Hélène Lacroix. She's an environmental performance advisor at Hydro-Quebec. She holds a degree in political science from McGill University and a master's degree in environmental studies from Sherbrooke University. Marie-Hélène has been working on social acceptability and public participation at different levels for the past 10 years at Hydro-Quebec, and her belief is that considering and mastering the art of social acceptability is one of the key factors in developing projects adequately and efficiently at the local and international level. Without further ado, I will now pass the floor to Marie-Hélène to proceed with her presentation.
For this opportunity to talk about social acceptability. I'm really happy to be here with you today. We often associate social acceptability to major projects and their construction. Today I'll be talking about our projects, of course, but also about how we integrate our daily activities in order to reach social acceptability. I believe that reaching social acceptability is not possible if we only put efforts in one aspect of our business, like the projects. Everything we do is influencing our social acceptability, from billing our customers to creating major projects. None of our actions should be left apart when we are considering seriously social acceptability. Social acceptability is linked to our reputation, to our social corporate responsibility, and to the way we treat our clients and partners on a day-to-day basis. This is why I've entitled this webinar, Hydro-Quebec and Social Acceptability, a Daily Target. Hydro-Quebec already has a good background in social acceptability. We've been considering our impacts on communities for more than 20 years. We have a lot to be proud of. We also had some learning moments, but I think this is what makes us stronger now. I wish to present to you the results of those lessons we have learned from and how we now envision social acceptability. Social acceptability is one of those terms that is simply but explained by the opposite of it. Non-social acceptability is much easier to recognize and to define. There is an easy definition for this. If you look at the picture, you'll recognize it. We usually know quite clearly when our projects are not accepted because we can encounter things like this one. And when we see this, we tend to ask ourselves, what is going on? Why are they opposing to? And what is it they don't understand? I thought my project was a good one. Well, opposition doesn't necessarily mean our project is not a good one. And with time and experience, we ask ourselves now, what is it we haven't understood? Where is it we have missed something? For the project at Hydro-Quebec, we have developed a public participation process and other methods that gives us the opportunity to interact with people before we get to the point of a conflict. We believe that by including communities, groups, and citizens early in the process of developing projects, we could prevent conflicts. Let's see first some details about Hydro-Quebec. So our company is a crown corporation. Our only stakeholder is the government of Quebec. We have 4.2 million customers. They are displayed in a territory covering 1,667,000 square kilometers. We have 34,000 kilometers of transmission lines, 62 hydroelectric generating stations, and we are producing 99% of renewable energy. 19,000 employees are working for us with the mission to produce, transport, and distribute electricity to its customers. All of this with one concern, is to reach social acceptability. Why should we consider social acceptability in our projects and daily activities? Well, because it's not just a tendency, it's now a necessity. It is a new paradigm that we have to consider as a project promoter. People in Quebec and around the world want to be more and more involved in the decision-making process in order to influence the output. People are more and more aware of the different possibilities of how things are being done elsewhere, and communities have a vision of their surroundings, and their opinions can and will influence our projects. Not considering what communities are saying could lead to delays, overcost, unwanted changes in our projects. This could also affect our reputation and our capacity to build new projects in the future. In case of strong opposition, the impacts are not only local, they can be national or even wider. Considering social acceptability is now an obligation for us. We see three main benefits to social acceptability. It helps our organization be on time and on budget in our projects. It improves our reputation, and it helps us build better projects. Social acceptability is a term that has been defined many times in many ways. No one has the same understanding of what it means and what this should cover. If you ask what is social acceptability to a few people around you, chances are you'll have very different definitions. The one that we use at Hydro-Québec is the one that reached the largest consensus among the practitioners and thinkers of public participation in Quebec. It goes like this. Social acceptability is a process by which the concerned parties work together to build the minimal conditions required for a project, program, or policy to be integrated harmoniously in its natural and human environment at a given moment. The important things for us is the process that will take place, and therefore how we will work with our different publics. The process will allow us space for discussion and information to the community in order to detail the project and to understand the reality of the communities we will be working with. This is a two-way relationship. By working together, we will build partnerships and mutual trust. We believe that involving the communities and other parties in the process would allow us to get a better and more adapted project. And this should also reduce opposition. But how can we do that? At Hydro-Quebec, we've been working on social acceptability questions at many levels in the company for already many years. Regarding our project, we've decided to establish three criteria that should be met in order to build the project. This is the three criteria that you see over here. So the first one, the company's project must be profitable economically. That is in order to give back to our stakeholders, the government of Quebec. Environmentally acceptable, so to respect all the rules, legislation, regulation, obligation, etc. And then they must be favorably received by the host community. This criteria is there to ensure that all efforts will be made in order to reach social acceptability. Hydro-Quebec projects and operations have impacts on Quebec society and the province's economy. So we strive to cultivate a positive reception of our operation by mitigating their negative impacts and optimizing their positive effects. These three criteria are there to ensure that we come up with the best project possible. It is so important to us that we've included that in our strategic plan, a public document. This is strategy number 2, and it's vehiculated in the form of inform, listen, exchange, and then improve. This also comes back to the idea of being accessible. Every action counts in terms of social acceptability. In the strategic plan, we promote the fact to be proactive with our different public. Our objectives are to explain the how and the why of our projects, and to reduce impacts on the local environment while remaining fair to the Quebec population as a whole. It's also an important part of our sustainability report. Social acceptability is defined as one of our main sustainable challenges for the next year. The reason is very simple. Every year, we carry out over 1,000 projects at Hydro-Québec. 100 of them undergo a public participation process. The challenge always presents since every project is unique. I invite you to look through this report, which is one important accountability and sustainability. It's available on our website, and you have the address over here. And let's see what we put in place to take social acceptability into account at Hydro-Québec. There is many paths to social acceptability, and it's a work in progress. It is never completely finished or achieved. We have to work at many levels at the same time in order to access it. The best way to reach it is probably to use many different means, methods, and approaches. I'd like to introduce you to the 5 pillars we use at Hydro-Québec in order to reach social acceptability. They each represent a different mean or method we have developed with time. Of course, the structure is reflecting our reality. So there is Community Relation Advisors Team, Donation and Sponsorships Programs, Customer Services, Community Support Programs, and the Public Participation process. We'll look at each of them, of course. Our first pillar is one of the main ones. It's the Community Relation Advisors Team. So what is that? We have identified 9 regions in the province of Quebec. It covers all the territory. In every region, we have a Community Relation Advisors Team. They are locally based to better serve their public and to better understand their reality. Their mandate is to be in constant relationship with officials of their region. They are the entry point for any type of questions or concerns local elected officials may have regarding the company. The community advisor will help them get answers, and he will offer guidance on any type of question. They are present on a daily basis as the main contact for elected officials. On the other hand, the community relation advisor have a really good knowledge of their region, and they have an established network within the communities. You see here the number of communities, boroughs, equivalent territories, or Aboriginal communities that are covered by the community relations advisor. In fact, every community in Quebec is linked to a community advisor. There is almost 50 community relation advisors working full-time for Hydro-Quebec. This pillar is probably one of the strongest, and it's a key one. Having a long-term relationship really helps us to stand through social acceptability. These things are really, really precious. The second pillar is the donation and sponsorship program. What you see here is the official page of our program. It is distributed upon request to the different organizations. It's a very classic program that intends to offer us visibility through local or regional events. This allows us to support meaningful events for the communities. Specific criteria must be considered in order to receive funding from the company. And the domains of activities or events that are covered in programs are culture, science, environment and sustainable development, socioeconomic partners, sports, health, education, social and humanitarian culture. In the same track of mind, there is the Fondation Hydro-Québec pour l'environnement. Applications for grants are received twice a year. And with this foundation, Hydro-Québec wishes to contribute to the enhancement and long-term protection of the environment. It is only devoted to environmental projects. Our third pillar is the customer service. The reason I have included this one as one of the pillars is because as a crown corporation, our clients and publics are also our stakeholders. If customer service is not reliable, solid and efficient, customers won't trust us. Customer service is often the main and only link between the client and the company. It really has to be efficient. We don't have any chances to make a good impression, and customer service needs to be good. We have put an emphasis on this service in the past year, and we intend to become a benchmark in customer service. We think that on a daily basis, if people receive an excellent service, if they see that we're considered their needs, then we will have more trust in the company. The more people trust us, and the better our reputation will be. This also been included in our strategic plan for 2016-2020. We already see a positive impacts of our effort in the past year. And once again, the idea is to be more accessible to the public, to be able to answer quickly and correctly to our customers. The fourth pillar is our community support program that we call Integrated Enhancement Program. This program was established in 1985. It aims at offering communities compensation for residual environmental impacts of our projects. This program is deployed during the new transmission projects. The funding is equivalent to 1% of the initially approved cost of the facilities. With the funding, communities can decide to realize an initiative in environment and municipal infrastructure or to support tourism in their region. Since 1985, it's 1,267 initiatives that have been created by the communities, with $126 million that was given to communities through this program. It is very much appreciated by the communities, and it's often a lever for regional development. Our fifth pillar is a very important one, specifically for the project's development. It is our public participation process and the team of experts that is leading it. Developed with the time and experience, this process is put in place for approximately 100 projects every year. The process is constantly adjusted and adapted to the projects and to the community needs. Since 1994, we have a team of experts in public participation that help project teams with this process. It's being deployed with the help and knowledge of the community of the relation advisors. They are a key actor actually in this process. Every project being unique and the measures taken to promote the success, they will vary depending on the host community's expectation. The process is developed around project structure. It includes 5 steps: planning, draft design, government approvals, construction, and operation and reporting. At the planning step, the project team will already determine local concerns and contact local authorities and organizations to inform them and to get their input. Working with local authorities allow us to quickly determine what kind of priorities the communities have, and we can adapt the project with when it's possible. During the draft design, at this step, the project team will meet directly with the communities to provide information, but also to consult with their stakeholders. They may meet the different publics during open doors meetings. They may provide information through the web, through postal service, whatever suits the community. The idea, once again, is to be accessible with whatever means we need to put to. When concerns are expressed to us, we will give as much information possible to answer it. And after the consultation with the communities, we will also plan a moment to come back and explain how we were able or not to integrate the different concerns and how it has influenced the project. Many variables will influence the extent of the public participation process. The point is to adapt it to the needs of the project and the needs of the community. Adaptation is really the key word over here. Government approval, well, during this step, we will continue answering questions of the public and we'll keep in touch with the different stakeholders, but there is no proper activities in public participation. During the construction, we will track work progress and maintain good relation with our stakeholders. We will still be accessible all the way through construction. Operation and report, well, at the end of the project, we will make sure we respect all commitments and follow through on agreements. We'll make sure we don't let anything unfinished or unanswered with the project. The public participation process is there to inform, listen, and work with the communities in order to develop the project and the relationship with these communities. We tailor our tools and communication every time so as to fulfill the need of information from the different public and stakeholders. The process creates opportunity and the opening for the citizens and the group to have access to the project development. The process itself is a work in progress and is always reviewed in order to be up to date. The graph you're looking at is from our sustainable report, which is accessible through our website too. And let me give you one example of a public participation process, a very important output. We had a project in Gaspésie, a very scenic region, in 2014. A promoter had built a wind farm in partnership with local First Nation communities. And to bring the energy generated by the wind farm onto the transmission grid, we had to build a single circuit line, approximately 25 kilometers long, from the wind farm to the Mataveta-Cascabeta line. The wind farm was on one side of the mountain, and the line we had to connect it to was on the other side of the mountain. And those mountains were very precious for the local community. They were the front door of the region. Going through the mountains with the line wasn't going to be easy. Also, we had a very limited time to construct the line. So the project team carefully planned the public participation process, and they knew they would have to consider the landscape as one of the main concerns. So they worked in elaborating a line route that will take it into consideration. During the open door meeting, one man came in and looked at the layout of the line. Then he asked, why aren't you using the old harvest route to pass part of your line? This old route has already been cleared, and we already used to see it. But our engineers, after a careful study of the zone, had not seen this old forest road. So the men proposed to bring them to walk the area to show them the old forest route. The engineers went, and you know what happened? Well, an old route was there. The trees were already cut, of course, and it was suitable for our land to go there. Even with all the technology we have, we didn't see this opening in the landscape. The line is on surface since 2016. The old forest road is the nest of part of the line, and it is very well integrated in the landscape. Despite all the constraints we had, we were able to build a project well integrated and with social acceptability. And this was possible because of local knowledge and the opportunity created by the public participation process. In addition to our pillars, some basic principles for a solid project should be considered. Consistency. Treat communities fairly. Be fair and equal. As a Crown corporation, this is particularly important for us. Trust. Respect your commitments, both big and small. It makes a good difference. We only have one word, and we respect it. It makes a difference in terms of reputation and relationship with the community. Partnership. We look for common solutions. We include municipal authorities and internal partners in our reflection. It's a two-way relationship, and it's a very strong asset. Participation. We build on human relations, and we are present into the communities, within the projects, but outside the projects too. Proactivity. Anticipate events. Inform stakeholders before activities. Be predictable. Surprise are not good over here. And responsibility. Be accountable for your projects. Integrate your projects in the community. Explain what can be done and offer appropriate communication tools. This is our responsibility as a project promoter to be well understood. Now some good practices. I don't pretend we have the best or the perfect way of reaching acceptability, but we have a pretty good one. Here are some of the best practices that are essential according to us. First of all, number one, a solid rationale. Establish clearly the rationale of your project. Why is this project needed? For whom? Demonstrate the necessity of your project. Making the relevance of your project understood will help your public understand its importance. Be transparent and true. And this should be done at the very beginning of your activities. This helps start on good basis. The rationale is to be clear to everyone. This is a prerequisite for trust. When the rationale is not strong, things are not going to be easy. Number two, communicate early. There is a belief that if you give information early in the process, this will give more time for opposition to arise. Well, now with social media, opposition can arise in days. Giving more time to the public doesn't mean they will oppose more strongly. This means they can integrate and understand and be part of your project sooner. Opposition may appear, but you will have time to consider it and act on it. And don't forget that the human is built this way. When things are imposed, we react and we oppose. So don't be in the opposition, be in collaboration instead. The moment you give communities the opportunity to influence the project and consider their preoccupation, their local knowledge, you give yourself a chance that they will accept it. Maybe with some changes, but this will make your project better. So as soon as possible, give information on your project. This will allow you to integrate the public preoccupation into your project development and the local knowledge. The sooner the public will be involved, better they will be able to integrate it. If you don't get information out there, others will fill the void. So you have to give it yourself. If this is not a major opposition may arise, but you will know what kind of concern there is, and you'll be able to answer it. Number three, target your communication and keep it simple. Forget about the very technical and specialized vocabulary. Make sure you know who you're talking to and adapt your tools for them. Everyone has to be able to understand the project and be able to interact with the project team. Making sure everyone can access information is a very good practice too. The information should be accessible through different means, so in person, on the web, in the postal box if you need to, but make it accessible. Your communication have to be crystal clear and accessible. The better the project is understood, and the more pertinent your interaction with the communities will be. In conclusion, I think 3 points should be outlined. Fostering social acceptability is a key factor in developing projects for quality and efficiency, but also for the long term. Tailor your tools. Listen and adapt your methods to your different stakeholders. Give information, be transparent, and be true. The most important, work on building a trust-based relationship that will be the ground for many other activities. Listening is very, very important because you can give as much information as you want to, but if you don't listen back, this will make no sense and this will bring you nowhere. I hope you enjoyed this webinar and that you were able to find some elements to help your reflection on social acceptability. I'd like to thank the Global Sustainable Electricity Partnership for this opportunity, and thanks to you for listening.